In today's world, it's important that we find whatever inspiration that we can and hope that we can live in this place in a world in which the Centers for Spiritual Living, the ultimate theme is that we are creating a world in which it works for everyone. A place in which we can all show up and be that expression of the divine spirit that we are meant to be. That we can be here and be in the presence and be in that idea and that quality of love. For that truly is the whole purpose, I believe, of why we are here and why we are in expression. I think that we are created out of love, the love of God and the love of family, and I believe that it is our role in order to continue to express and experience that love. The themes and the topics have been created by a number of different groups of people around the world in order to allow for the centers to kind of follow along together in the same idea. And this month, the theme, All the Colors of Love, was brought together by a team of individuals that identify themselves as the regeneration, cultivating tomorrow's leaders for today. And I just thought I wanted to share a little bit about this group that put together the monthly themes and the topics. Their vision is that we see a world empowered, awakened, and renewed by the transformative passion, the energy, and the enthusiasm of the next generation. Their mission is to cultivate the next generation of leadership within the Centers for Spiritual Living movement. Their purpose is to equip, empower, and engage in the next generation of leadership with the tools and resources they need to succeed. One of the things that this group does is regeneration, is that they are doing fundraising and trying to collect monies in order to pay for the schooling of individuals under 35 that are entering into the ministerial program for Centers for Spiritual Living. And so I think it's just a very powerful group in what they're doing for our entire movement by trying to bring in the leaders from a grassroots level at a younger age. And so I think that they should be recognized. If anybody is interested in knowing more about this group, you can get this information from me. So today, this month, the theme is All the Colors of Love. And today we're talking about For the Love of God. And the theme, the topic in today's Science of Mind magazine is Compassion for Self and Others. There are three things that I want to cover today, so I'm just going to give them to you now. So in case I go off on a tangent, at least I'll be able to say that I gave them to you, and it's up to you to figure out how that works. So, talking points on the point of love. What gets in the way of our letting love through in living as us? And the second point is that it's not always easy to do the right thing. And the third point is when I love or I act from love, it is not myself, it's not my ego, but it's that God love that we're operating from. So we know, and some of this is kind of like I posted here so that if you want to take down notes, you can do so later. This idea that in this month of love, that we are bringing forth out of a place of who we are, the essence of the divine that has brought us life. And one of the things that I wanted to do was look into some of the readings of Ernest Holmes and bring his idea current into what we're doing today. And I love this book that he wrote with his brother Fenwick, The Voice Celestial. This was published in 1960. That's the year in which Ernest Holmes made his transition. It was his final book, and he's written many of them. And this is one of the probably most profound, most deep. It's an epic poem written much in the same way that the Bhagavad Gita is written. And I pulled out of the section called Heaven and Hell, this one piece that I think is about, that also is about love, in a way in which he brings it forth. When he wrote this book, The Voice Celestial, it has a couple of characters. One, there's the narrator that's just kind of like telling the story as it goes along. One is the traveler, and this is one of the main individuals. It's you, it's me, it's each of us as individualized expressions, as we're asking always this ultimate question of, why am I here? Who am I? And what is this eternal life that we're talking about? And of course, then there's the presence, which is the mind of God, the infinite intelligence. And this is the presence. This is God speaking to this individual that's asking these questions. And the question was, what is this idea of heaven and hell? And his response is this: speak first of love, for love can never die, and love itself has wings. With clearer sight, the tear-dimmed eye might pierce the fearsome night and see the soul uprising, upspring, all winged with light. The real is never seen. The cause, the source, the true, the holiness, all that we crave lie just beyond our view. The high desires, the food, the love that purifies cannot be touched nor seen by these two human eyes. The faith by which men live, the cause for which they die, the vision of the saint, it escapes the mortal eye. Man lives his span and goes, nor ever dreams that he lived only in the shade of unreality. He thinks that changing forms of shadow on the wall are real, and stoutly claims that what he sees is all. Yet, just beyond his sight, just beyond his eyes, are minarets and towers of unseen paradise. There is reality and wisdom on the throne. Judge not the world by sight. Not what appears is true. For your world is thought and form. The only real is you. And I've left copies of these on the sound table back there if you would like it. The only real is you. What we see, what appears before us, what we're experiencing in this world is temporary. It's just our thought manifesting and showing up in this physical form for a time and a place for us to have an experience, to be an expression. But the real is just beyond that. It's like a very thin veil. These are words of Ernest Holmes. It's like a thin veil in which we step through. When we talk about life and death, we talk about this veil, about how close it is, that the eternal is right there, and we're just here having this experience and this expression, and then when we reach that place of full enlightenment, we step through that veil into the eternality, into that place that is already love, that which has already created us in order to have this experience because it just wanted to. It wanted to have a place in which it could show up and then, try things out. And that's what we're all doing. We're all in this world, just kind of like trying things out. We're having an adventure. We're playing with this thing called life to see how well it is that we can bring it forth. And a lot of times as we do that, we're bringing forth pain and suffering. And out of that, there's often the opportunity for us to learn that we don't have to live in pain and suffering. We don't have to live in chaos and anger and hate. That we can choose again. We can choose something different, and we can choose to be in that place of love. As I said that in the beginning, this idea, this question is, what is it that gets in the way of letting love move through us? Why is it that we can't, if we know that we're part of this eternal idea and this infinite intelligence that is always about love, then why aren't we living that way? Why are we having all of these challenges and all of these opportunities and all of these missteps that we seem to take, and at the same time we have success and we have achievement and we have great things that are happening? So what is it that gets in the way? Well, in Science of Mind, we have this idea that it's our belief. It's our belief system. The ideas that we're holding on to that get in our way. One of the things that Ernest Holmes says, and it comes out of Scripture, out of the teachings of Jesus, it says that life is really done unto us as we believe. So it's our beliefs. And I've said this so many times, it's like, if you believe that you are poor and suffering and lack and limitation, if that's your belief, then the universe says yes. And not only does it say yes, but it supports you in your belief. And it brings you even more of that. So as we come to this understanding that it's as we believe, and the way that I understand our beliefs is that monkey chatter that's going on in the back of my mind all the time. That's kind of like creating all of the chaos. That's where my beliefs really are founded and grounded in holding on tightly, because I know that I can be up front in the frontal part of my brain, and I can be thinking, there's a better way to do this. I don't have to, be in that place of lack and limitation. But in the back of my mind, I'm always having doubt, and I'm always having some uncertainty, and I'm always thinking I haven't done enough, or I'm not strong enough, or I haven't, worked hard enough. Whatever that belief is that's going on in the back of your mind constantly, then that's what's creating and manifesting the form in which you're living. So we can be up front, and we can say all of those wonderful words and affirmations, but if we don't really believe them, if we don't take them deep into our heart and our mind and our soul, then that monkey mind, that chaos that's going on in the back of your mind, is what's going to show up, and that's what's going to get in the way of letting love come through you, because it is who you already are. When we do the practices that we bring forth and that we teach and that we offer in this philosophy of Science of Mind, when we are sincerely doing the affirmations, not just reading the words in a routine kind of mundane way, but when you're really thinking about it, the affirmation, and that affirmation could be, oh, poor me. That's your affirmation. And that's what Spirit's going to support you. So choosing again, having a different belief, bringing about a different affirmation, an affirmation that I am loved, an affirmation that I am free, and that using that, stepping out and doing something that reinforces the idea that you really are love. One would have to ask themselves that if you say that you are loved, if you want to make that your affirmation, and then throughout the week you're cussing and cursing and moaning and bemoaning everybody and everything else, then you're not being loved. So we have to find a way within ourselves to catch our thoughts, catch our thinking pattern, that when we start to go down that pathway, when we start to go down that road, we go, no, wait a minute. There's another choice that I can make here. There's another choice that I can be a part of. That I can choose an affirmation that says that I'm better, not better, because I don't want to get into that judgment, but I can do better than the thought that I was just, putting out there against something or someone in some other way. Always bring it back home. Always bring it back into the heart and the love, which is the second point that I says, it's not always easy to do the right thing. We want to do the right thing, and sometimes when we think we're doing the right thing, we have an aha moment where we realize that, oh, maybe that wasn't always such a great thing. It's like, I want to be really honest and truthful for you. So here's my opinion. And that opinion, even though it may have factual honesty to it, telling somebody that they look ugly is not, really being helpful in a loving kind of way. I really love you, but oh, that outfit. Where did you, so we have to kind of reel ourselves back in so that we know that what we are doing, what we are saying is being the right thing in the right way and choosing. And that doesn't mean that we allow people to run us over, because holding people accountable is a very challenging experience, because sometimes we want to be nice. We don't want to tell people that, something that you said or something that you did hurt me, or it offended me, or it wasn't a pleasant experience. But sometimes we have to hold people accountable, and we have to hold ourselves accountable. Because if I can't hold myself honestly, if I can't hold myself accountable, then what right do I have to be asking or demanding that anyone else be something different? So again, we begin within our own selves. We begin to look within and make sure that when we are looking at ourselves, we're looking at our own thoughts, we're looking at our own behavior, we're looking at our own choices, that we hold ourselves accountable. In leadership, in a role as a practitioner or a minister, when you find yourself, rising up into this place that has some elected authority to it, some given power to it, some perceived authority to it, then you realize that your influence, the words that you use, the way in which you behave, has a greater impact on the lives of others. And one has to be, one ought to be very aware and conscious of how it is, what you say and what you do, and how it affects so many others. When I was back running the group homes for foster children, it was one of the messages that I continued to train the staff that I had working there, was that it was so important for them to do the best that they could do, because the children that they were supervising and caring for were looking up to them, whether they realized it or not. These children were looking to them for their guidance, for their safety, for their protection, and for their love. And if they didn't operate from that place and understand that the life of this child, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, was going to be based upon what you gave them today, what you did for them this week, because that was their foundation that they were getting at that right place and that time. And so it was important that we were accountable to who we were and what we were doing for others, in order that their life would hopefully have some greater sense of joy and peace and harmony with it through what we were doing. And our third point, when I love or I act from love, it is not myself that is doing the love. It is the higher self. It is the divine self. It is that infinite self. It is that God presence within me. That's where the love comes from. I don't make it up. I don't create love. I'm not the inventor of love. In that sense that we're talking about that pure divine presence, that pure love, that love that has created all of this universe, everything that is within it and everything that is beyond it. That's the love that is already there. That's the love that dwells within each and every one of us. That's the love that has given us life. So I'm not coming from a place of small self-love, the ego love. I want to come from that place of the divine love that calls me to a higher standard, that calls me to be more aware and more cautious of what I'm thinking, the words I'm saying, and how I'm behaving. Because if I'm here to represent that divine presence, and I believe that we all are, then I want to be the best representation that I can be. In order to do that, I call upon it, I look for it, I seek it within, to know that that truth lies within me, so that I don't have to think about it. That I'm not worried about the words that I'm saying or the way that I'm behaving, because I'm doing the practice, I'm living the principles, I'm standing in a place that I know that divine presence is always working through me, as me, and is me. And I want to give you this closing affirmation. Today, I allow the principle of love to flow through my mind, through my speech, and into my actions. I arrive today as a place where love is present and all people are safe. I know that by choosing love, that I create a world around me that works for all. For love is the path to freedom. And today, I choose freedom. Thank you. Namaste.